verse 16. And of course, I'm going to read from the Message Bible and then from the King James Version. Then we'll share what the Lord has given us today. I got some catching up to do. I hope not to be too long today, but we were not here on Wednesday. I got to catch up some things. Matthew chapter 5, begin at verse number 13, from the Message Bible. Let me tell you why you're here. Let me tell you why you are here. You're here to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavors of this earth. If you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You've lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage. So isn't it amazing that God puts some responsibility on us? Isn't that amazing? Do we see that we have a responsibility in this earth? Everybody say that. I have a responsibility in this earth. Here's another way to put it. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. Same verses from the King James Version of the Bible. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Verse 16. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. This is the word of the Lord to the people of the Lord. You may be seated. I want you to pay special note to the beginning of verses number 13, 14, and 16. 13 says ye, but let me say, you are the salt of the earth. Say that I am the salt of the earth. Verse 14, ye are the light of the world. Say that I am the light of the world. Now understand this before we go further, and I'll perhaps touch it later. We know that Jesus is the light of the world, right? Amen. And we have no light in us except Him. So when we say, I am the light, that means that I'm allowing the light of Jesus Christ who is inside me to shine in the world. So that's why verse 16 says, let. Everybody say, let. Let. See, your light is not going to shine unless you let it shine. Amen. All right. We can turn these lights off in here. You know that? We can turn these lights off, and even though the lights are capable of shining, we have to do what? Let them shine by what?
Turn them on.
So then if we're going to light this world, we have to let the light of Christ shine through us.
Amen.
Somebody say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Now, we are not the light. We're just reflectors of the light. We can actually say it like this: we're the moon. Everybody say we're the moon. See, the moon has no light in and of itself. Just like you and I, we have no light in and of ourselves. The only light that we can shine is the light that we reflect from who? From Jesus Christ. Amen? So you have to, everybody say, let that light shine. So verse 16 says, let your light what? Before men. Why? Why? So everything good about us is God. Paul told us there is no good in us except from the Christ in us. Amen? Y'all all right? So we must be salt and we must be light. Now we've looked at these 4 verses for several weeks now, but the 4 truths that we've been working on is to help us understand salt and light is this. First of all, the presupposition, which we've dealt with that, we'll review just a little bit. So you got number 1, the presupposition. Everybody say presupposition. Secondly, we got the plan. Everybody say the plan. Third, we got the problem. Say the problem. And then 4th, we have the purpose. Everybody say the purpose. So we got the presupposition, we got the plan, we got the problem, and then we got the purpose. And we're going to draw those from these 4 verses. Now, the presupposition here is simple. This text presupposes 2 things. What does it presuppose? It presupposes the world is decaying. And that's why it needs salt. And it's dark. And that's why it needs light. It doesn't have to say that, but it presupposes that. And the fact that the world needs light presupposes that this world is dark. Does it not? And the fact that it needs salt presupposes that it's corrupt or that it is decayed, and it is decaying. Salt is needed where there is decay. Salt is used where there is corruption. And light is brought where there is darkness. If it's not dark, during the daytime, you walk outside when the sun is shining, you don't need a flashlight. But if you go out there at night, if you want to see, other than the little light that the moon is reflecting from the sun, if you got a full moon, then you're going to have what? In order to see, is that right? This world is dark. And in order for the world to be able to see, we must be that flashlight in this dark world. The world is messed up. I don't think we really need a big sermon on that.
All right.
And it didn't just get that way. Jeremiah says that the heart of man is deceitful above all things.
Yes.
And is what, preacher? Desperately wicked.
All right.
Listen, it didn't take it long to get there. God made this earth.
Amen.
He made man.
Yes, sir.
Think it only took about 6 chapters for the man to mess that up.
Yes, sir.
That he said, I repent, I hate I even made this man. Because he's only evil. His thoughts are only evil and not good. The heart of man is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. This is Jesus' view of the earth. And so our Lord is saying, since we have a decaying, corrupted society shrouded in darkness, this society needs salt to hinder and impede the corruption and light to brighten the darkness. And so the presupposition is the darkness and the decay of the world moves us to the second point. Everybody say the plan. Plan. So then the plan is dominion. Everybody say dominion. Plan. Did you know you were here to have dominion? Yes, sir. I got the preacher saying yes, sir. Did you know God put you here to have dominion?
Yes, sir.
That was our original purpose for being here. And God said, let us do what? Make man in our image after our likeness and let them what? That was the original plan and that is the now plan.
All right.
Y'all all right this morning?
Yes, sir.
Do we need to stand up and shake a little bit? Everybody say the plan. He sets us up in the world as a holy priesthood.
Yeah.
As a kingdom of priests.
Yes.
We're here as kings and priests.
Yes, sir. All right.
And he says, I'm giving you dominion.
Yes.
I'm giving you a restored dominion that man lost in the fall. So in the beginning, God created the man, right? And he told the man to have dominion. So what did Adam lose when he sinned? Did he lose heaven? No. Why not? Because heaven never was his.
That's right. That's right.
He lost dominion. In order to get that dominion back, why did he lose it? He lost dominion because he disobeyed God.
Yes, sir.
So in order to get dominion back, somebody had to come and perfectly obey God.
Yes, sir. All right. That's right.
I think y'all know who did that. Who did that?
Yeah.
Jesus came so that he could do what Adam should have done in the beginning,
Lord have mercy.
which is obey God. He remained obedient to God. He not only had to obey God, he had to pay a price for what Adam did. So that you and I could get back. See, the price for sin, all of us were wrapped up in Adam.
Lord have mercy, mercy.
So that's why you didn't have to come here to sin. You came here a sinner.
That's right. Yes, sir. All right.
And y'all hear me say this all the time. You don't have to teach your child to lie
That's right.
or to sin. No need you being embarrassed because your child does something that doesn't represent you. No, he came here a sinner.
Yes, sir.
Just like you did.
Yes, sir. Yes, right.
Now, however, sometimes our kids do mimic us.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Oh, this is okay. They mimic us. That's why we get mad because he's doing something you not supposed to be doing.
Lord have mercy.
He saw you do something else. He's mimicking what you did, and now you want to beat on it. I think we need to be whooping some of these parents. But God gave us dominion from the beginning. We lost it. So the plan is to get it back. God says, you're my kings and you're my vice regents. Or in other words, you're my representatives in the earth. And you are my princes in the world. You are my priests and my prophets in the world. You say in the world. This is why we are, although we are in the world, we're not what? And your job, our job, is to hinder and impede the corruption and bring light to the darkness. In other words, we are to be an influence in the world for Christ.
All right.
But I was reading and I found some things about salt. We talked about a little bit of it last week. Now, one of the things about salt is salt is a preserve. Everybody say salt preserves. So we kind of talked about last week a little bit. I believe part of why this world has not been destroyed is because we're in it. Who's we? We are the believers.
Yes, sir. All right.
So I believe the fact that believers are here, that we're withholding the wrath of God on this earth.
All right.
I believe this earth is being preserved because we're here.
Yeah.
It's being preserved because we're here and to give the sinner a chance to get saved. And you and I are supposed to be drawing them to Christ.
Yes, sir.
I tell y'all, do not save just to miss hell. That's a good reason now. We don't want to go to hell, but you're not saved just to miss hell. We're saved to get somebody else saved.
All right. Yes, sir.
I love it, and I quote it often. I love what Ron Parsley says. He says, I don't preach to get my name in lights. I don't preach so you can pat me on my back and tell me how great I am. He said, the reason I preach this gospel, Dominique, is because somebody is going to hell, and I want to stop them.
Yes, sir.
We're here to be salt and light to influence this earth. So salt is a preserver. In the old days, when we didn't have refrigeration, they would kill an animal, and to preserve that animal, they would rub coarse salt into the meat.
Yes, sir.
Rub that coarse salt into the meat. Everybody say, rub the coarse salt into the meat. And when you rub the salt into the meat, you don't see the salt anymore. It's rubbed in. It's in there. And when the salt gets in, it preserves the meat. Without the salt, the meat, you go back out there and the meat is rotten. The meat will be rotten. So God takes us and rubs us into, we're in the world, but we're not of the world. And because we're here, it's not as rotten as it would be. It is rotten. But could you imagine what it would, read your Bible. When the church leaves, it don't take long at all for the earth to corrupt and get destroyed. So then we're here to preserve this earth. But one of the other things about salt, the body needs salt.
Yeah.
The body needs salt to induce thirst.
Yes, sir.
So that we will drink water to preserve our own lives. Did you know your body can't survive without water? Our body is made up of 80% water. Some folks say a higher percentage than that. So we're made up of 80% water and 20% dirt.
Lord, have mercy.
And if you were to take a high-powered microscope and put it on your skin, you'll find the same substance in the dirt that you find in your skin.
That's right.
That shouldn't surprise us because God took man from the dust of the earth and breathed into him the breath of life. Listen, we're nothing but dirt, and without God we'll remain. See, only God could put life in us. And although we're walking around without God, we're dead. Somebody say hallelujah. So salt, it preserves. But it also, what did I say? It preserves, but it gives life as well. We need the salt so it can induce thirst. Our life is needed in the world so somebody will want to be like us.
Man. Yes, sir.
Why aren't you? Let me look at somebody else, but Will ain't got no hair. Well, why ain't you pulling your hair out, Tara? Other folk in the world pulling their hair out because of the things that are going on in the world.
Lord, have mercy.
But Tara is so calm.
Jesus.
Why are you so calm, Tara? Why aren't you worried about what's going to happen to your job? Why aren't you worried about this, that, and other? Why aren't you stressing out? Because I have Jesus.
Yeah. Lord, have mercy. Yeah.
Yes, Lord, and He's got me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so the world sees that and they become thirsty for what you have.
Yeah.
I want what you have. Because I want that peace that you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever say, I am the salt of this earth. One of the other things about salt, let me tell you something that salt does. I had the wonderful privilege of spending a lot of time in Israel. In Israel, they have the salt sea, the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea, but the Dead Sea is full of salt. The water is so buoyant with salt that nothing, first of all, nothing lives there. Everything in it is dead. But floats in that water. It was amazing. I'm not a great swimmer, but I was out there standing in the water, like I wasn't on the bottom. It's like I was suspended in the air on the water. And I was just slamming myself, trying to get under the water. And I'd go down and pop right back up. Wow. It's amazing. You lay out there on the water like you're on a bed. It's amazing. But that salt water, that water is so salty that if you had a cut on your skin, it would burn to no end. So salt, everybody says salt stings. And you ever been preachers that say salt stings. Salt stings. If salt stings, why are we trying to make folks so comfortable in sin? We want to make everybody feel good. Say it again. We want everybody to be accepted. Listen, Jesus will accept you like you are. People, sinners shouldn't be comfortable around us. A sinner shouldn't come in here and not be convicted, not a little bit. Y'all all right? Salt stings. If you take some table salt at your house, you could be doing something in the house. You got a cut on your hand that you may have nicked yourself with the knife while you're, cutting some stuff up, and you didn't really catch the nick because it didn't hurt you too bad. But get some salt on it. My hand's stinging because now it got in that little nick that you didn't even know was there. I said salt stings.
Yeah.
We are the salt of the earth, and we ought to make the world sting just a little bit.
All right.
Paul says see, one of the things with this plan is to transform the world. Not conform to the world. One of the great problems I think we have, instead of the church influencing the world seems to be influencing the church. Somebody said it shouldn't be that way. Paul says to the church at Rome, he says, be not conformed to what? This world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. We are to be influenced in the world. So the plan is watch verse 13. Verse 13 says, ye are what? The salt of the earth. Verse 14 says, you are the light of the world. Verse 16 says, let your light so shine before men. And guess who has that responsibility? We do.
That's right.
To whom did he refer? If Jesus initially was talking to the disciples, but who does he refer to? He refers to us, the church. Believers are agents of divine transformation. We are the ones who are salt and light in the world. And by the way, verse 13, ye are the salt. Verse 14 says, you are the light. These pronouns are emphatic. It says, you only are the light.
Yes, sir.
You, in a collective sense, not you individually. You meaning the church. Everybody who's saved, everybody who's a believer is the light and the salt. You're the only light. The church is the only light and only salt in this earth. If we don't do what we're supposed to do, how's the world going to see Christ? And that's why I've been sharing with you from the bottom of my heart for so many weeks now that we must live in the world distinct from the world. If we're to fulfill the plan that Jesus set about to fulfill in the world, we cannot be corrupted by it. Everybody say we cannot be corrupted by the world. We cannot swallow the world's immorality. We cannot swallow its materialism. We cannot swallow its self-centeredness. We cannot swallow its easy solutions. The easy way out ain't always the right way out.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Some folk always want what's easy. Listen. What was easy is not always right. We cannot listen to the world's philosophies. We are called to come out and be separate, and to touch not the unclean thing.
Amen.
And I want to tell you that's an exacting call. Everybody say this, I must come out and be separate. I can't be like the world.
Can't be like the world.
See, I talked to you about holiness some time ago. Holiness doesn't mean you're better.
No.
Holiness means you're different.
Amen.
There has to be a difference.
Yes.
Listen, if a person can't tell the difference between a saved person and a sinner, something's wrong.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Amen. Amen.
The very ones who are persecuted by the world, the very ones who are hated by the world, are not to retreat to some place in the woods. We're not to run away from persecution. That's a part of who we are. They that will live godly, what? Shall suffer persecution.
Yes, sir.
We're to stand there and face the world vigorously, holding to the responsibility to be salt and light, if ever there is to be a hindrance or a hindrance of corruption and a dawning of light in the darkness. If we literally translate verse 13, it will be this: the only salt of the earth is you. The only salt of the earth is you. The only light of the world is you.
All right.
That's it. Here we are in 2018 in Huntsville, Alabama, in the midst of a corrupt, immoral, and dark society. And the only salt and light of this place is you. Everybody say, I am.
I am
Salt.
salt.
And I am
I am
light.
light.
That's it. We're the only ones who possess the character of the kingdom. We are the only ones who can bring salt and light to this earth. We are. Everybody say, we are. There's a verb that goes before that. It's called este, and it stresses being. Everybody say being. So the stress is on being. It's on what we are and what we must continue to be. And we are salt and we are light. We're salt and we must continue to be salt. We're light and we must continue to be light. Listen, it didn't say if you're saved, raise your hand if you're saved. If you're saved, it didn't say you're going to be light or you're going to be salt. It says you are.
Yes, sir.
You are. If you're saved, you're already it. Whether you like it or not, you're it.
Yes, sir.
The question becomes, it's not whether you're salt or whether you're light. It's whether you're salty and whether the light is on.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's it.
If you're salt, if you're saved, you're salt.
Yes, sir.
If you're saved, you're light. Period. That's it. No in between. Deacon Poole says something I'm working on. No, you're salt or you're not. You're light or you're not.
All right.
You know what light does to darkness? Light displaces the darkness.
Yes, sir.
Man,
Everybody say that light
light.
displaces the darkness. That's why you never have to worry about trying to move darkness. Don't ever try to move darkness. Just turn on light.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to disappear. Turn the light on, the darkness is gone. I don't know where it goes, but it's gone.
Go.
Now again, I was telling you earlier, we say it says we're light, but of course we know Christ is the true light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world, right? That's what John 1 tells us. Then John 8 tells us, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. In John 9, verse 5, he claims to be the light again. In John 12, verse 35, he claimed to be the light again. ever and always. He claimed to be the light because he is the light. But what's so wonderful about it is he passed that light on to us. In Philippians chapter 2, verse 15, he said, you should be blameless, harmless children of God, without rebuke in the world of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding forth the word of life. Everybody say, I am light.
I am light.
God says, Christ is my light, but you're also light. He's the sun, and you're the moon. And I told you, the moon simply reflects the light of the sun.
Yes, sir.
This means we've become part of a miracle. We were darkness, but now we're light. Peter says he called us out of what? Darkness into his. So we ought to go forth and show forth the praises of him, right? Because he did that for us. So what does light mean? Light means it means the truth and life of God revealed. Everybody say that light means the truth and life of God revealed. Truth and the life of God revealed. Jesus Christ says, thy word is truth. Now light reveals, does it not? Remember in the beginning, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, I believe it is. Verse 1 says, in the beginning, God, what did he do? He created the heavens and the earth. Verse 2 says that the earth was without form, it was void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Does it say that? And then he says, verse 3 says, and God said, what did God say? God said, let there be what? Light. That light was not this light. That light was revelation. That light was revelation. So the earth was, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, period, right? Did God create the earth out of order, confused and chaotic and dark? No. Something happened between verses 1 and 2. And I'm not going to preach that this morning. Go read Ezekiel 28 and Isaiah chapter 12. And you'll see Satan talking about those I wills while he was Lucifer in heaven. I will ascend to the throne of God. I will be like, he gives you 5 I wills in there. And God said, no, you won't. Satan said, I will. God said, no, you won't. What did he do? He put him out of heaven, didn't he? We say sometimes there's a war in heaven. Some theologians, we title it and say the war in heaven. I don't believe it was a war. I believe Satan rebelled and God kicked him out. Period. God didn't even do it. God said, Michael, take care of that. And Michael put him out. The reason I know it wasn't a war because it didn't last, but a flash. Historians, we talk about the 100-hour war in the desert. 100 hours, they talk about how bad Iraq's army was. The third largest army in the world, and they went to war with the United States in 100 hours, it was over. They were begging for it, waving white flags in retreat. We give up. 100 hours, and we talk about the shortest war in history. But there was one shorter than that.
All right. Come on, pal.
In heaven, when I'm talking with St. Lucifer, rebelled, God said, Michael, take care of it. Jesus said, I beheld him as lightning falling from heaven. That was the quickest one.
That was a quick one. He won, too.
He won. But when Satan fell, where did he go? He fell to the earth. And when he fell to the earth, everything in the earth failed. And nothing knew what it was supposed to be doing. That's why that revelation deals with purpose. So God said, let there be light, let there be revelation, so everything that I gave, put here, you know the purpose why I was here. And perform that purpose. Hallelujah. See, without form means out of formal order. Void means chaos. Chaos means everything is present, it's just not in the right place. And so And dark means ignorance. Again, it deals with purpose. Ignorant of purpose. Darkness is ignorance. So the first thing that God did, the Holy Ghost, listen, the Holy Ghost was there. The Spirit of the Lord was hovering over that mess. Was it not? Yes. But he wasn't doing anything. You say, well, how can the Holy Ghost be in all that hell that's going on? Because he ain't doing anything there. The Holy Ghost is always waiting on the Word. Somebody say hallelujah. Hallelujah. The Holy Ghost is waiting for the Word to be spoken. He acts and responds only to the Word of God. Yeah. And so while the Holy Ghost was there, he was just there. That's what he wasn't just there. And then God said, that's what he was waiting on. And I want to tell you something in your life right now. You know what the Holy Ghost is waiting on? He's waiting on the Word to be spoken over your life. All right. You need to learn how to speak the Word over your life. Yes. Yeah. You need to learn how to command healing to come on your body. Yeah. You need to learn how to lay your hands on yourself. Yeah. Command your body to be healed. Holy Ghost was there, but he was waiting. And God said, let there be what? Light. And what happened? See, and you know how God, see, now when he says he's going to make man, I'm jumping to 26, he said, I'm going to make man in my likeness. Likeness means not look like him. It means operate like. How does God operate? God operates by faith. Do you think God doubted? Do you think he wondered if what he said was going to be? No, he knew the moment it came out of his mouth, that's what it's going to be. We call today Sunday. If God were to step in here today and call it Monday, guess what it is? Whatever God says is what it is. Amen. And see, God wants us to operate in a space and in a way to where we say what he says. We say the right things. When we say what he says, then we ought to believe by faith that what he say is going to come to pass. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Problem is, we don't know what to say because he don't know what he said. Say it again, preacher. Get in the Word and stay there. They used to have a song, something like that. Get in the Word. Get in something and stay there and be ready when Jesus comes. Y'all remember that song? But we have to get in the Word so we know what to say. And see, one of the things that the Holy Ghost, this is why reading your Bible is so important, because when you read your Bible, you're not going to memorize all 66 books of the Bible. You're not going to memorize any book of the Bible. But the Holy Ghost, in the time of need, he will bring that word back to your remembrance. The problem is you can't remember what you never remembered.
Thank you, Lord.
He can't bring up what was never there.
Thank you, Lord.
That's why I love him so. Listen, he knows what's needed at all times. And when you've deposited the word in you, he can bring it out of you at the appropriate time. Isn't he wonderful? Isn't he wonderful? All the time. So the plan, I said the plan. The plan is to get us back to that place. God said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. And let them have what? Dominion. Yes, sir. So say this. God said, I can have dominion. And so I will. Not over people. Read the list now. All the things he told you to have dominion over, people are not on that list. So here's a question. Why do we want to rule people?
That's a good question.
We laugh at the things God told us to have dominion over. I got dominion over fish. People laugh at that. Do you know you got dominion over the fish? The cattle? And all the creepy things that people on earth? But you don't have dominion over people. Listen, people are trying to say what they do on the job. Well, I'm over 50 people at my job. Okay. I'm in charge of this. Even husband, I'm the boss. I'm in charge. Sit yourself down somewhere. like to say we're in charge out here. You get home, you're in charge of the vacuum cleaner, the broom, all that stuff. You're in charge of that stuff. We love to put ourselves over people. But God never told you to be over people. He didn't tell you how to be no people. He told you to have to be no fish, birds, cattle, and creeps. So when he put us here, he told us to have dominion. That's the plan. I said that's the plan. And so since it got messed up, and now it needs to be put back in order, that's why we're here, to influence it back to the way God wanted it to be from the beginning. Everybody say, I am salt. Now this is what I've been pushing now because salt is unlike the substance or the environment in which it's placed. You don't use salt to salt.
That's right.
You put salt on something different from salt so that the salt can influence whatever you put it on.
Yes, sir.
Y'all all right?
Man.
Yes, sir.
Salt is unlike the substance or the environment in which it was placed, and light is unlike darkness. Light and dark can't coexist. God has changed us from being part of the corrupting, stinking, foul meat of the world to be the salt that can preserve it. And from being in the gloomy midst of darkness to being light that can expose it. See, now the beautiful thing about this, and the reason we ought to be able to help somebody else is because you can't be high and mighty like you've never been there.
Yeah.
You were there too.
That's right.
You were once rotten too.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Some of us still rotten.
Watch out, please.
We were in darkness. Oh, but thanks be unto God.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Paul said to the church in Colossians 1:13, he says, we've been transferred out of the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of his dear son, which is the kingdom of light.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And this is why worldliness is totally condemned in this passage. You cannot be a part of the world system. Cannot have people who claim to be Christians and never separate from the evil systems of the world. It can't be done. There's something wrong with that. Something's wrong seriously when you claim to be a believer, yet you never come out of the world.
My.
Well, I have to go in there. I have to be like them so I can win them. No, that's not how you win them. That's deceit. You've been deceived. You're not salt. You haven't changed from the environment you're in. If you haven't changed from the environment you're in, you're not salt. You're still corrupting. You're not light if you haven't come out of the darkness. So then listen to what Jesus does as I close. Jesus connects the great blessing. Let me go back up top for this last note. Let me take my altar with me. Jesus connects this for us. I'll show you what he did here, and I'm closing. He connects the great blessedness through verse 12 with great responsibility. He connects the great blessedness to great responsibility. Everybody say that. Great blessings equals great responsibility. Now, y'all know I watch movies. Spider-Man. There's a line on Spider-Man. You know, he gets bitten by the spider and he have all these powers. And his Uncle Ben told him, he says, with great power comes great responsibility. Say that, with great power, comes great responsibility. So then, Jesus connects the great blessedness through verse 12 with great responsibility of verses 13 through 16. If God so graciously, if he's so gracious, verses 3 through 12, leading up to what we read. If he's so gracious to put you in the kingdom and to give you everything he gives you, you think he's going to require some responsibility?
Man.
Well, what does he give us, Pastor? In verse number 3, he gives us the kingdom of heaven. In verse number 4, he gives us comfort.
All right.
In verse number 5, he says we will inherit the earth. Verse number 6, he fills us with righteousness. Verse number 7, he gives us mercy. Verse number 8, he allows us to see God.
All right.
Verse number 9, he calls us his own son or his own child. And then in verse number 12, he gives us a great reward. Now, if you have all those blessings, believe me, you'll have responsibility too. He's not going to give you all of that for you to do whatever you want to do. Unless you're being influenced by him. I taught a lesson some time ago, several years ago, about the will of God for your life. First thing it says to be saved. Everybody say, I'm saved. I'm a believer. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I believe he died on Calvary's cross. I believe he got up out of the grave. I believe he's now seated on the right hand of God, making intercessions for you and I. I'm saved because of what Jesus did, not because of what I did. Everybody say, I'm saved. So the first thing about the will of God, it's the will of God for you to be saved. For you to be saved. It's the will of God for you to be saved. Will of God for you to be sanctified. Sanctified means set apart.
Yeah.
You have to come out from the world and be ye what? Separate, said the Lord. Touch not the unclean thing, Lord. If you're still touching dirty stuff, you can't be sanctified. Sanctified means he cleans you up.
Thank you, Lord.
Then he says, Holy Ghost filled. You're saved, you're sanctified, and you're Holy Ghost filled. Now that you're saved, you need the power of God on the inside of you to help you live saved.
Yeah.
You couldn't have been saved in the first place except the Holy Ghost drew you to himself. So now that you are saved, you're cleaned up. Now the Holy Ghost is there to help you live that life. And he wasn't going to come in the first place till you got cleaned up. He came in there to cleanse you up. And then we must be submissive to God. So we're saved, we're sanctified, we're Holy Ghost filled, and now we're submissive to God. James, I believe, was that submit yourselves therefore how? Unto God. Once you submit yourself to God, then you can resist the devil. Once you submit to God and resist the devil, then he will flee from you. The reason the devil is messing with some of us is because we ain't submitted to God. Well, the reason he won't flee, he gonna mess with you anyway. But the reason he ain't flee is because you ain't submitted, and because you ain't submitted, you won't resist. And he ain't gonna flee. We entertain too much stuff. And then, the fifth one was real easy. He says, if you're saved, if you're sanctified, if you're Holy Ghost filled, and you're submissive, then the fifth thing he said, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. You get that? Whatever you want to do. If you're saved, if you're sanctified, if you're Holy Ghost filled, and if you're submissive, he's already controlling your wants and desires. That's it. So you do whatever you want to do. That's why, Lord, my prayer, I don't want anything you don't want me to want. I don't need anything you don't have for me. So, we are, everybody say we are. Salt, and we are light. I'm not trying to become salt. I am salt. I'm not trying Bible, he said, be generous with your life.
Yeah.
That's turning on the light. Showing the world the God in you. Showing the world Christ. Christ in you. What the hope of glory. Come on, let's stand. Say it again. I am salt and I am light. We have all the blessings that he gave us in the Beatitudes. Believe me, folks, you will have and you do have responsibilities. We have a responsibility in this world. And that responsibility is to live as salt and light.